So my name is BrownMartin. I'm pleased to welcome you to this first Digital Safety Conference and the launch of what I hope will be a rapidly growing, influential community that reflects international interests and concerns. In welcoming, I also thank you for showing your support and confidence in the ability of my team and I to host what I expect will be a challenging alternative to traditional thinking and approaches to the subject matter. By way of introduction, and before passing to our opening address and chair, I would like to place this conference into some context. In 1965, American attorney and political activist Ralph Nader's book, Unsafe at Any Speed, was published. I think with this week's publishing of the Digital Britain report, as well as of a number of other vitally important reports, including EU Kids Online, the CHIS Digital Manifesto, the US Internet Safety Technical Task Force report, and a number of others, the legacy of Nader's work has much relevance to our new digital highways. His book was a pioneering work of consumer advocacy, openly polemical, but substantially backed by insider knowledge. It addressed what Nader perceived as a political meddling of the car industry to oppose new safety features such as seatbelts and airbags, as well as sustained industry efforts to delay the introduction of crash tests to assess vehicle safety. Nader questioned vehicle styling effects on pedestrian safety and issues over pollution. In fact, many of the things that we take for granted and probably wouldn't buy a car without today. Nader claimed that the road safety mantra called the 3 E's, engineering, enforcement, education, was created by the car industry to distract attention from the real problems of vehicle safety. To the industry, he said, enforcement and education was about the driver, while engineering was all about the road. When his book was published in '65, $320 million were allocated to highway beautification, while just $500,000 was dedicated to highway safety. Nader certainly had his detractors, however. Economist Sam Peltzman concluded that the addition of safety features made cars more dangerous because it encouraged more risk-taking. General Motors, and they've got their own problems these days, responded by trying to destroy Nader's reputation and silence him until the GM president, James Roche, was brought before a US Senate subcommittee to apologize to Nader for his company's campaign of abuse. I'm sure you see where I'm going with this, but let's bring it back to today. This has not been an easy conference to bring together. It's fair to say that some industry players, e-safety organizations, and even government departments viewed our bringing together of a community and convening this first meeting with a little suspicion. But I'm glad we persevered, and I'm thankful for the help and support that I've received from my advisory team, colleagues, and friends, and of course yours by voting with your presence here today. My own experience of cybercrime provided me with insights into an area that, whilst appearing to be addressed by countless organisations in the UK, I found didn't cater for my situation, nor, in fact, many others. What I did find was a fragmented group of organisations fighting to defend their own moral high ground whilst compromised by their sources of funding. Like traditional crime, cybercrime in its various forms isn't limited to one sector of society, a community, or an age group. Unlike traditional crime, cybercrime isn't restricted by geographical borders. It's this last point that really has people scratching their heads. And we're not talking just about old-fashioned cybercrime either. Mobile data, location-based services, and GPS technologies usher in a new wave of possibilities for the would-be abuser. Then there are digital services which, like some politicians' expense claims, fall within the rules but are in breach of trust at best and a breach of civil liberties at worst. Are technologies that legally track your movements from website to website, or your physical movement via your mobile phone, or publish a picture of your front door without your knowledge, really necessary? We are dancing around the precipice of huge personal biometric and other databases, including DNA, fingerprints, education, face recognition, employment, whilst at the same time pouring our own data willingly into social media platforms in a kind of modern cocktail time bomb the result of which, for good or bad, we cannot imagine. We seem to have arrived at a point where you need to opt in for safety rather than opt out of danger, opt in for privacy and opt out of transparency. Frankly, I'm dizzy from option paralysis, and I need a moment of reflection. And that's what today's meeting is about. The objective is not to hamper progress, ingenuity, and wealth that the digital revolution is bringing, but simply to reflect on how this pace can be continued so that everybody can proceed with confidence. On that note, I wish you an excellent and productive conference, and thank you for coming. I'll now hand over